no way you know all 10 of these hidden secrets in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Greetings, Muggles! I'm here at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and today we are headed to both Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade to point out 10 of the best hidden details and Easter eggs in this land. These are some of the ones that even the super Harry Potter fans don't know about, and I guarantee there's no way you know all 10 of these. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Asio, Easter eggs. Diagon Alley is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter section in the Universal Studios park. This is the second addition to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and it's where Diagon Alley, the shopping district, comes to life from the first film and beyond. It's absolutely incredible and my all-time favorite theme park land because it's so immersive and it truly feels like you've been transported to another place. Before this was Diagon Alley, it was home to the Jaws ride, which I don't even want to talk about it. If you know me, you know Jaws is one of my favorite movies. I only rode this ride once in my whole life and I was too scared to even look at the shark. It's one of my life's greatest regrets. Don't talk to me. Anyway, because this is where Jaws once was, there are 3 nods to Jaws, and we're going to show you all 3 of them, beginning from obvious to progressively less well known. The first of the Jaws nods is right outside Diagon Alley. This is the easiest one to find, and it's right here in the record store, because of course we're in London right now. There's a record shop, and if you look closely, one of the albums is called Here's to Swimming with Bow-Legged Women by the Quint Trio. That is a nod to Quint, the shark hunter in the film. He famously says,
"Here's to swimming with bow-legged women,"
as he toasts Chief Brody with a shot of liquor he made himself. But this right here is the obvious and most well-known of the Jaws nods. Now let's go find the other 2. We are headed to the window right here outside of Mole Pepper's Apothecary. This is not a store you can go into, it's just one of the shops listed here. But if you look in the window, you'll see something familiar. In the window, it's hard to see. You see it? Hanging in the back is a set of shark teeth. These shark teeth were actually used in the queue and the design area of Jaws, and they found their home here at the back of Mole Pepper's Apothecary window. You can also see other ingredients that you may know from the films or real life, such as mistletoe, beetle eyes, leeches, and spleenwort. And the last of the Jaws nods, and the hardest one to find, is back here in Knockturn Alley. You have the shrunken heads that sing songs, and one of them in their rotation is Show Me the Way to Go Home, which Chief Brody, Hooper, and Quint famously sing aboard Quint's ship, the Orca, as they are on their shark hunt.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. You can always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home.
I literally spent hours just looking in every shop window, every sign, here listening to all the sounds, and I do. That's part of the reason I know a lot of these secrets is because I just look around. And a great place to look for some details is right here at Flourish and Blott's the bookstore. We're going to start a little more basic. A lot of people know about this one, but I still want to point it out. On the left side of the windows, you can see a full collection from Gilderoy Lockhart. You have his whole collection right here. You can buy a box set. Look at the little feats on that little box set you could get. Giant picture of him here, and even a moving photo of good old Gilderoy. This must be before he was defamed. Well, I guess he never gets publicly defamed, does he? That's interesting. Someone in the Wizarding World should look into that. And a lot of people notice these over in the right window display. It's the Monster Book of Monsters. I'm sure the shopkeeper is glad I'm not asking for a copy because look at what they've done to all these books down here. There's hair and book pages everywhere. But I'm more interested right now in talking about this giant stack of books. If you take a look at some of them, big Harry Potter fans may recognize a few of the names. For starters, you've got a lot of things written by Bathilda Bagshot, such as The Decline of Pagan Magic, Omens, Oracles, and The Goat. Those are both written by Bathilda Bagshot, who you may know as the most legendary of all the wizard historians. She wrote Hermione's favorite book, Hogwarts, A History. So you can see her name several times. You've also got Tri-Wizard Tragedies Through the Ages. That one, of course, is a nod to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It's got the Tales of Beedle the Bard, which of course comes into play in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. That's where your story of the three brothers and the Deathly Hallows comes into play. You've also got Advanced Potion making right here. This is from the Half-Blood Prince. This is the book that Harry gets used, and it has the Half-Blood Prince's notes written all out in it. So you may have noticed a lot of those before, but one that a lot of people don't realize is The Secrets of the Darkest Art. Die-hard Harry Potter fans, let me know if you know what that is in the comments. I'm revealing the answer in 3, 2, 1. That is the book that Hermione uses to figure out what Horcruxes are. And what's interesting is that it was located in the restricted section of the Hogwarts library, and then Dumbledore pulled it out. So when the kids originally went to the restricted section, they couldn't find anything. It was only after Dumbledore died that Hermione decided to use the spell Accio Horcrux books, and this book came flying out of Dumbledore's office and to Hermione. She calls it a foul book talking about the darkest arts, and it is where she learns about how you make a Horcrux, and she brings it with them on their adventure because they need it to help destroy Voldemort. But I find it interesting that they just have it casually for sale here at Flourish and Blotts when it was so dark and scary that it was in the restricted section at Hogwarts. But here you have it right here. Moving right along to Gringotts, the Wizarding Bank. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts put you into the moment in Deathly Hallows where Hermione disguises Bellatrix, Ron disguises as a Death Eater, Harry under the invisibility cloak, with the help of Griphook, break into Gringotts to steal the Horcrux out of Bellatrix Lestrange's vault. Never gets old. But not only is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts an incredible coaster, it's 3D, part simulator, part actual sets, giant fun, amazing roller coaster. It also has some incredible Easter eggs in the queue, including the fact that the entire queue looks like you're walking into Gringotts' vault. It's absolutely incredible. The chandeliers combined have over 62,000 crystals on them. Absolutely gorgeous. At least walk through the queue even if you don't plan to ride, though you should plan to ride. It's one of the best rides in the Harry Potter universe. But one of my favorite Easter eggs, and it's a very important Easter egg, is located in the pre-show. At one point you go into Bill Weasley's office, and he has on his desk a couple of portraits you should take a look at. One is his wedding portrait from his wedding to Fleur Delacour, and the other is the family photo from Egypt from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when Arthur Weasley won money and then takes the family on a trip to Egypt. But this is a very important portrait in the Harry Potter series, not just here on the ride, because it's the only time you see Charlie Weasley. And he's not even mentioned, but he is hiding in the back of the photo. But basically, Charlie Weasley doesn't exist in the movies the way he does in the books. He's Ron's older brother who is a dragon handler, but that's the only time you see him. So I like that photo just for that. Charlie Weasley deserves justice. We're headed down Knockturn Alley for our next view, and this is probably my favorite place in all of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a Slytherin or because the detail in here is amazing. A lot of people don't even realize Knockturn Alley exists, but this is definitely where the seedier wizards and witches and creatures would hang out. And there's a lot of great detail in here. Like, one of my favorites, if you look up these kind of alleyways, it really does look like it goes on forever. And you have things like Fenrir Greyback's wanted poster. But I've pointed that out before, so I'm going to show you something that maybe you haven't seen. Right here in the center of Knockturn Alley is this spell you can do where you move around and the giant spell will move with you. And if you look closely in the windows, there's all kinds of creepy skulls and skeletons from different creatures. Like this one right here, that's a mermaid. And if you look above this sign that says full skeletons of all kinds, there's actually a wide variety of different sizes. While we're in Diagon Alley, let's go into my favorite store in all of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Borgin and Burkes. This is the store that's maybe not quite the items you'd want the Ministry to find. Maybe they're a little dark, maybe they're a little mysterious, maybe they're a little cursed. But let's go look for some cool details in here. First of all, before we even get in there, if you look under Borgin and Burkes, you'll see a spell flashing because they're practicing magic down there. And there's only one spell that lights up green like that. And it's definitely something you may use if you are coming to Knockturn Alley. It's Avada Kedavra, the killing curse. So they're practicing down there, which is discomforting. This store has tons of Easter eggs. Some of them are really obvious, like this first case when you come in has the Hand of Glory that Malfoy ends up buying and using. It also has the cursed necklace that he ends up giving to Katie Bell. But there's some that are not quite as obvious. Another very exciting and important Easter egg is the Vanishing Cabinet is back here. You may recall that Malfoy spends basically all of Book 6 repairing the sister cabinet in Hogwarts in the Room of Requirement, and then that's how the Death Eaters are able to get into Hogwarts at the climax of that story. But if you listen closely, you can actually hear a bird, because if you remember, Malfoy practiced by using birds and then sending apples through to see if he had done it. So listen closely, you can hear that bird. But also, if you touch it, you can feel it hopping around. Make sure you look up in Borgin and Burkes, and you will see all kinds of trinkets, skulls, props. And what's really cool about these is that 90% of them were actually used in the films. So these are film-used props hiding here in the top of Borgin and Burkes. My favorite one is the Gorilla Foot umbrella stand that you see briefly in the films, but they mention it several times in the books because Tonks keeps tripping over it as she enters number 12 Grimmauld Place. This one I've pointed out several other times, but it's so cool I like to point it out in case you've missed it. This cabinet is shaking and rattling, which means there's a boggart inside there. You may know that boggarts take the shape of whatever the viewer most fears. So what would your boggart take the shape of? And last thing I'll point out, but not least, there's so much in the store. If you look on the back wall, there are tons of educational decrees from when Umbridge had her time to shine. Quidditch is canceled. Hogwarts is subject to the scrutiny of the Ministry. And unfortunately, Dolores Umbridge has been appointed the post of High Inquisitor. Any literature by non-wizards or half-breeds is banned. Headed into Wiseacre's Wizarding Equipment. This is one of the biggest shops here in Diagon Alley, and this is kind of where you can get like your general merchandise, sweatshirts, t-shirts. They also have a lot of stationery and collectibles, but like everywhere in the wizarding world, I'm going to tell you to look up to see some very cool details. Up along the shelves, you'll see a variety of different instruments, stars, very celestial up here, but if you look closely, there are 2 barometers, and those were actually used in the film. One of them you see in Dumbledore's office in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The other one you see in the Room of Requirement in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So it's really cool that they used a lot of screen-used things, and those are 2 examples right up here at Wiseacre's. You know what? I'm inspired to show bonus fun things to look for. So we're headed into Globus Mundi. This is the travel agent, and I just like the detail in this store, so consider this a bonus. First of all, if you look on the wall here, they have posters of places to visit, and I just love that they look like any other travel agency, but they're like Scandinavia, Norwegian Ridgeback sightings, Paris, spellbinding, romantic, and stylish, London, blah, blah, blah. Then if you look on this wall, it's got the Fam Bus station wagon, but it's just a broom that seats a lot of people, and oh my gosh, can you even believe how adorable that sign is? And then if you want to see it, it's actually up on the ceiling. I love it. I think this is the funniest detail. Can you imagine being like, don't make me come back there. Don't make me turn this broom around. And up top, you've got the office, you've got package deals, and you've got this poster for Flu Boost, which is a flu powder accelerator. Also some posters for night bus times. If you look at the tippy top, it's for instant darkness powder imported from Peru. If you remember, the Weasleys kind of have a side hustle from the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, where they're selling a lot of like military equipment to the Ministry of Magic, which is wild when you think about it, because they're like teenagers selling stuff that the Ministry's using for war, basically. But instant Peruvian darkness powder is used against them by the Death Eaters and by Malfoy, and it's very spicy, but it's interesting that it's up there for sale. I've done a lot of videos about everything there is to do in Diagon Alley. I've done a video all about the different shops. We can link those for you, but for now, we're headed over to Hogsmeade. So first of all, if you look up at the tick board of the arrivals and the departures, those are set to actual London arrivals and departures. The Hogwarts Express is the train that takes you between Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and back and forth between the 2 parks. You do need a park-to-park ticket to ride it, and it's really fun. It does get a long line, though, because of the low capacity. So if you're not a diehard Harry Potter fan or you've ridden it before and it has a longer line, you can most likely walk between the 2 parks much faster than taking the train. But it's one of my favorite things in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, just because the train is such an iconic part of the story. And I'm going to show you a little nod to someone that's very important on board the train. But as we're walking through the train station, those who have seen Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince may recall this billboard. What's really fun is that at Christmas, they actually decorate it in here and put little Christmas trees and Christmas lights and decorate some of the trolleys. Between platforms 9 and 10, you run straight at the wall. Between platforms 9 and 10, best to do a bit of run if you're nervous. If you take a look before boarding, you'll notice whose luggage is here. HP, Hewlett Packard. I don't know he goes to school here. Hey Hedwig, it's so good to see you. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad nothing bad ever happens to you. The Hogwarts Express is coming soon, and it again is the way to get between the two Wizarding Worlds if you want to ride the attraction. It's different either way you go though, so I do recommend riding it for my diehard HP fans. But we are going to be looking for a little Easter egg in there, and no, I'm not talking about the ludicrous replacement they chose for Hermione's voice.
Hermione, can't you conjure up some pumpkin pasties?
Ron, food is the first of the 5 principal exceptions to Gamp's law of elemental transfiguration.
I'm talking about a little nod to a man who made these lands happen. Stuart Craig was the production designer on the films as well as the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and there's a tiny little thank you to him inside the train cars. Cabin D, and if you look right here on the window, it says Craig right there. Before you go into Hogsmeade, don't forget to come take a picture with the train. A lot of people don't do this. You can see no one else is here, and you can come take an awesome picture with the train. Look how cool it is. Mom, can we have Hermione Granger? No, we have Hermione Granger at home. It smells so good in Hogsmeade right now. I can smell the leaky cauldron grilling up some ribs and chicken. It smells amazing. Welcome to Hogsmeade, friends, where we're going to share a few more of my favorite details. First up, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure TM. This is my favorite ride in the whole wide world. This is that incredible roller coaster that sends you on Sirius's enchanted motorbike on an adventure throughout the enchanted forest. You go through Hagrid's hut. You see all kinds of creatures. One of my favorite details, I point this out every time, is that blast-ended scroots are a key feature, which are only mentioned in the book, which I love that detail. But there's an incredible detail in the queue that I'm here to point out this time. There's a few cool things in the queue. When you enter this, you're kind of going off Hogwarts grounds into an abandoned old section teaching building, and this is somewhere that students have, of course, found on their maybe not so allowed excursions around the campus. And you'll see in several rooms graffiti. You can even see L and J written in graffiti. That would be, of course, for Lily and James, Harry's parents. You can see phoenixes drawn and all kinds of cool things on the graffiti on the wall. But my favorite detail in the queue is actually on this bulletin board that is showing you how to board the attraction. If you look closely, there's a post-it note with a drawing of a rubber duck on it, and it says, "Ask Harry." That is a nod to when Arthur Weasley asks Harry what is the function of a rubber duck in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
You must know all about muggles. Tell me, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
You see, the way these enchanted motorbikes are duplicated is because Arthur put a duplication charm on the bikes, which is why you are able to ride them in a line of 8. I love that Arthur Weasley's part of this. He's one of my favorite characters. I feel like he's an underrated character, and I love this little post-it note of him reminding himself to ask Harry what on earth could be the purpose of a rubber duck. Continuing to look in the windows, we are at Dogweed and Deathcap. This is an herbology, exotic plants and flower shop here in Hogsmeade, and a lot of people notice the mandrake, or at least they hear the mandrake. He's very annoying and very squeaky. These are the magical plants that can cure you from being petrified, though, so they're crucial in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. But that's not the only magical plant you may recognize in these windows. Come across to the other window, and you'll see this kind of green, cactusy looking plant. Anyone know what this is? It's the Mimbulus Mimbletonia, which is a plant very prevalent in Harry Potter because Neville gets one as a present for his 15th birthday from his great uncle Algie, and he brings it to Hogwarts because he wants to show it to Professor Sprout, since they're really rare and they don't even have one in the Hogwarts greenhouses. But then, if you remember, it's spews stink sap all over Harry and Luna and Ginny, and then Cho comes in and Harry's all embarrassed because he's trying to dazzle her, and now he's covered in stink sap. It also becomes the password for the Hogwarts common room, which Neville loves because he can remember that one. But this one moves. Hey, little guy, please don't spew stink sap on me. That'd be great. Thanks. Let's head to Hogwarts now, where the attraction Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is housed. This is that part simulator, part live set, super duper Harry Potter extravaganza attraction inside Hogwarts Castle. And there are a ton of cool Easter eggs and details throughout the queue. Even if you think this ride's gonna make you motion sick, I highly recommend walking through the queue, which we've done several times in different videos. We can link those for you to check out all of those details and Easter eggs. But this is the advanced class, so we're headed straight into the gift shop to show one of my favorites. Here at the exit of the attraction is Filch's Emporium, full name Filch's Emporium of Confiscated Goods. This is the gift shop, but it's also where Argus Filch, the caretaker, hides all of the things that he has confiscated from students. And it's once again a great way to look for some cool Easter eggs and details. Like there are literal shelves full of Weasley's Wizard Wheezes projects, because as you remember, he bans all of them. He says anything from Wizard Wheezes, not allowed. So he has a lot of firecrackers and other products from them. These are one of my favorite Weasley products. They definitely mention them in the book. They're basically sticky tennis shoes, so you could like walk up a wall with them. And I have the Lego Harry Potter game, and they're very helpful. Anyone else play that? You can see he's got a copy of the Quibbler. Seen a couple of those around as well. Wonder if that was in Order of the Phoenix after Umbridge bans them reading it. Honestly, this doll of a house elf probably deserved to be confiscated. Look at that. A nightmare. This is also where you can see the Marauders map. If you watch closely, you see the little feet. But my favorite thing that he confiscated is in a very special display. It's this fanged frisbee right here, which you can see its fangs and its little face right there. This used to live over in Zonko's before they expanded Zonko's to be part of Honeydukes, but now Filch has found it. And what I like about this is it reminds me of a little tale. A tale from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, when Hermione and for some reason Ron are made prefects. And then Hermione confiscates one of these because they're banned from a student, and then Ron says, "Great, I've always wanted one of those." And he tries to take it, thus abusing his power as prefect. Why Ron was chosen as a prefect, I don't know. I understand not giving it to Harry, because he was very busy, but like there are other boys in that year. Dean Thomas seems like a good kid. You know, he doesn't seem like he's in trouble all the time. He seems to keep up with lessons. So like, really, Dumbledore, Ron, you thought would be a good prefect? He's clearly trying to steal things. What do you have to say, Ron fans? What do you have to say about that? Real question, do I need this tiara? Like, it's $165, but it's a tiara. It's also, you know, one part of Voldemort's soul. So that feels like a good bargain for that. I always love looking at the cases in the shops. I also love Lucius Malfoy's cane, which his wand comes out of. I have that Time Turner necklace. But there's some really cool details and beautiful pieces of collectible merchandise if you are in the market. That's a wrap, friends, on 10 secrets not even all the pros know here at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Which one's your favorite? What other Harry Potter content do you want? Drop it in the comments. Now go watch my other details video with even more secrets here at the Wizarding World at Universal. Bye!